What's up everybody, it's me, it's DB, and I'm back with a video with Zylo. We've put this together, we're going over like the Negotiators leak for Gear 13, the characters we're going to gear up first, or hope to, Grand Arena Championships, and so much more. So I hope you enjoy the video, guys. Let's do this. What's up guys, it's your boy DB back once again covering the latest topics that have been going on in the game, and again I'm bringing my buddy Zylo in from Takedown Games. What's up, dude?
Hey, what's up everybody? Glad to be back and got some good stuff to cover today for you.
Yeah, it's good to have you back, man. I mean, you were requested as well. People wanted more of these videos, they want us to work together more often, so we got to give them what they want, right?
Yeah, that's right. It's all for the fans, it's all for the viewers, and hopefully you guys are going to enjoy these. I'm excited.
I think to kick this off, we'll go straight in. We'll go right in on the big leak that happened. I think it was yesterday it happened. It started appearing in my inboxes. I saw it on Reddit and stuff. It was the Negotiator. A lot of people thought this would maybe be a legendary ship event or such, but it looks like we're actually going to get it with the Get 2 currency instead. What do you think of this?
Yeah, it's a crunch, unfortunately. What this is incentivizing is you have to either, pick one or two good teams to get up to Gear 13 and then go for the Negotiator, unfortunately. But they're also going to make the Negotiator a requirement somewhere, I feel like, especially with the new GOTB coming up. They're gonna make you need this ship. So it's going head in first, just like when Malik popped up. You got to get it done with and get it over with, unfortunately. Yeah,
I think it's probably going to end up being a real shake-up for Fleet Arena, just to make you decide, do you want more crystals, or are you going to go and get Gear 13, which you're probably going to need for more crystals in the other arena? So it's like, what do? You kind of got to sacrifice one for the sake of the other. We still don't have the kit, so I don't actually know what I'm going to do yet, to be honest.
Well, I still feel like the Falcon will definitely be meta, and it'll probably be, a 50-50 matchup. They don't want to take away from the newest product for ships, right? And they're trying to find a way to incentivize ships more. So, making it a meta where it's kind of rock, paper, scissors, like you either have the Falcon or you have the Negotiator. I think the Negotiator will have some better perks to it, of course, having it on offense.
Yeah.
But they don't want to also demonetize the Falcon, right? But again, you're going to possibly need this for this new GOTB, and maybe even like a version to where you use the Chimera with Thrawn and Darkside TB for Hoth.
Yeah.
You use it for that Get mission. So what if they use this to, say, for example, for a special mission for Get 2 on the new GOTB?
That's exactly what I was thinking. I think the light side Geonosis won't be too far behind, and we're bound to need this there. And if we don't dive on it straight away, we're going to be late when that actually drops.
Yeah, and then it also makes me curious about what we're going to get for the dark side, GOTB, whether it's Grievous or a new capital ship, and is it going to be rolled out in the same manner, or how else are we going to get that ship too as well?
Yeah, I was wondering that, because Carrie, I think it was on the Escape podcast, kind of alluded to the Malevolence coming. We spoke about this on our last collaboration, but there's been nothing about it, and Darkside Geonosis is coming really soon, but I assumed we were going to need that ship for that. But if we don't get some info on it soon and some way to farm it, it's going to be really tight for a lot of guilds, I think, because obviously you got to spend your prestige, you've got to spend your fleet credits or whatever they call them, and yeah, that's leaving it really late, which worries me that it's going to be a legendary.
Yeah, I mean, it needs to happen soon, right? Because the new TV right around the corner, within a week from what I heard, and I'm not sure what the plan going forward is, and like you said, managing the right resources with your fleet credits and your prestige it's going to be hard, because if you're not prepared to make the full investment in both these ships at the same time, it's going to stunt you in one direction or another.
Exactly, you're going to trip up somewhere, and I mean, I'm using a lot of those fleet tokens, credits, or whatever, for mods at the moment. There tends to be the best mods in the mod store, always requires those. So I'm having to be a little bit more careful with them, because I'm trying to make sure I've got enough to max the ship out the second I get it, depending which one I'm actually going to be able to get first.
Yeah, fleet credits are definitely one of the biggest crunches in the game right now, because I'm even buying the fleet credits out of the Cantina store as much as possible over Shard Shop currency. Yeah, because it's just such a limited credit income that we don't really have right now. So hopefully they can implement some of that soon as well. We'd like maybe even see that in the arena store, some free credits that you could purchase just like regular credits.
Yeah, I think something like that would be definitely helpful because, as I said, most of the best mods always need that, and there's a lot less of them floating around than there is the standard credits.
Definitely.
Speaking of crunches, though, how can we even do a collaboration like this and not touch the new Gear 13 Kyro tech crunch? I mean, have you seen this? Like, every character in the game basically needs them now.
Yeah.
That tone.
Let's use what was it? I believe on the Escape podcast they referenced that this is going to be like the new Carbonti. I definitely don't see the new Carbonti. I see a new layer to the game, like we've been mentioning now for the last couple months inside the community. It's scary. It's really scary, but this is also an opportunity too as well, and an opportunity to hyper focus the right teams that you've already worked on. The best teams in the game. Obviously we're gonna gear 13 Darth Revan, Malik, and Bastila. We're gonna gear 13 Jedi Knight Revan, and we're gonna gear 13 Padme. I think we're all in agreement on that. This is also a good way to hyper focus your roster again, right? This is a good way to manage your roster in a direction to where you can be more PvP focused, and the new PvP is Grand Arena, right? So it's just hyper focusing yourself.
I'm pretty concerned myself because some of those new pieces look crazy. I mean, the ones that stood out to me were General Grievous and the Night Sisters. They got some massive buffs in those Gear 13 pieces, but it's like, Capital Games kind of said they were going to help alleviate the gear crunch in regards to stun guns. I'd imagine that's kind of the one that everyone's hit with. And it's like, now it's like, okay, so you got that stun gun crunch. How about having this one too? And it's like, oh great, so now I need to spread my resources even further. So I'm hoping that the older crunch is going to get significantly less, intense.
Well, and another thing too is it takes 5 full pieces, right? Like, so it's so stretched out, and it's also gonna stun you from upgrading lower tier geared characters. And then with the addition too of the fact that there's the one Rancor piece rare. It's a lower tier gear piece that you'd use on like tanks, but again it's just something else you have to crunch for, and something you'll be waiting for in the guild store to pop up just to gear 13 a character, or monetizes those lower gear pieces too as well, because you're going to be chasing for about a week just for one of these gear 13 pieces, even with Grand Arena going as actively as it is. It's gonna take so long, and they're not going to monetize this gear 13 piece for quite a while too as well. So it's just pick one team. That's the team you're working on. Pick those 5 pieces, even 3 pieces like the Darth Revan team. I mean, I don't see a real reason to take like your Sith Trooper or your HK-47 to gear 13 right away. The core characters like Fallen Bastila, Darth Revan, Darth Malik, you get those 3 characters to gear 13 right away. Then you can probably start looking down your roster a little bit more, right? Like, it's just going to have this big cause and effect, and it's going to cause another rat race.
Yeah, I agree. You're not going to want to just whack Gear 13 on any random team member. You're going to need it on the core priority characters like Darth Revan. I mean, it gives him 10% extra health steal. That's going to come in quite handy because Revan's team is incredibly soft, especially if you don't have Malik. I mean, the team just falls apart without Malik there really easily.
Yeah, and I mean, this also gives you another chance to not just revise your roster, but to pick a team that you want to stand out, right? Like, so, like you mentioned, Grievous and the Night Sisters, those are definitely, like we mentioned in the last collaboration, a B+, A- team, even with Grievous's rework, right? I think that some of these A+, B- teams have potentials to, climb back up and, become relevant again. And then you have your other teams that could potentially even be counters, like your bounty hunters. Your bounty hunters could go so much faster, have so much more damage. The Night Sisters have so much more health and protection. The Padme team's going to be disgusting at Gear 13. So
it's going to be a little scary. Especially if more characters come out that make it even more like defensively effective. Because at the moment, I've got a couple of ways I beat it really, really easily, but Resources are being spread so far that once they get them to Gear 13, I don't know how quite effective the ways I beat it are going to be anymore.
Yeah, I mean, it's with everything getting a huge protection boost, and some of the
Mauls?
day one characters. Yeah, Maul, that's going to be insane because
triple the
evasion,
protection.
Yeah, it's going to have an even bigger survivability mechanic. You imagine a Zeta Maul and a Zeta SWGOH team. The old school dodge meta or that, right?
Except the thing, Maul was always super soft. And you'd struggle with SWGOH or whatever back in the day, but more you could get him out quite quickly. As soon as R2 came out, and you could just burn him, keep him still, and kill him. But now he's got so much protection, it should prove considerably more effective.
Yeah, I mean, I've even seen some Grievous teams popping up in my arena shard too. With the rework, imagine that extra layer of Gear 13 on that team. It's going to be exciting.
Yeah, I noticed the Jedi Revan teams are falling a lot quicker suddenly now that reworks come out for Magna Guard and Grievous.
Yeah, and it's going to be fun. I mean, that extra boost from health. You're talking about almost 14,000 health for each character. And,
exactly, that's a lot more damage.
All the extra damage. Yeah. Droidic is going to be one-shotting Darth Revans and Fallen Bastilas and stuff like that. It's going to be awesome.
It's going to outrage the whales. Who do you think you're going to focus on first for Gear 13? Say 3 characters. Who stands out to you as something for you and your roster right now as something that you're really interested in?
Well, you definitely want to go arena first. But if I'm thinking outside of Fallen Bastila, Darth Revan, and Malak, I'm definitely wanting to go towards the bounty hunters because. Jango Fett lead, Bosk, and Boba, those 3 pieces right there alone, getting that extra speed boost. And
I love Jango
Boba.
lead.
Oh yeah, but Boba's the engine for that team, and I just recently remodded him for speed and potency.
Mm-hmm.
So that way he's dispersing those ability blocks and he's landing those dots consistently. And Jango, once you get him modded pretty well in his Gear 12 plus pieces, those alone can get him over 300 speed, so he's going to have 330 plus speed. Now imagine that with the Gear 13 or the Gear 12 finisher piece. That's another 12 speed on top of that. It's
gonna get scary.
Yeah, you can get Bosk over 300 speed before his lead too as well, so you can get these Bosk Jango teams fast enough to go before Gear 12 or Gear 13 Darth Revans. So, to be a good counter for the bounty hunters later on down the road.
Yeah, anything to get faster than those Revans, because I did a lot of testing with Jango lead, in fact, against the Darth Malak squads, and it was, I was managing to pull off the odd win against the really high-end stuff. It was a bit dicey, and I in the end I couldn't recommend it, and I scrapped the video. But with the changes that have come in with Gear 13, it might actually be quite effective.
Well, I have seen some film to re-mention the bounty hunters again. I've seen Jango lead with Boba, Embo, Bosk, and Thrawn, and they've matched up with some of these top tier Revans with Gear 12 Malaks, and it's one of those counters that takes a lot of RNG, but once you get the bounty hunters resolve going and they're forced to target Jango with the death mark and the damage immunity, he's just sitting there taking all the damage, and Boba and Bosk and Embo can kind of do their thing, and you have Thrawn's turn meter swap mechanic and fracture in there to kind of slow the team down too as well. So it's just another idea and another counter too to put out there for the community.
Yeah, if it works as effectively as I think it might, that video might end up getting revived. I've still got all my old footage where I could even show people, I spent hours and hours on this and just couldn't recommend it in the end. I mean, I could have put out a video where I showcased the 1 in 50,000 win, but I don't like to do that. If I can't get it to work consistently, I'm not going to put a video out because it just misleads people, and I don't want them wasting their already precious resources.
Right, when Darth Revan first came out, everybody was using the droids to counter it, but it's definitely a soft counter, and the team just chips away one piece at a time while Grievous starts going. If Grievous dies, the team loses, so that's one thing. But it's instead of giving something that's an RNG fest, right? I'm not going to recommend something like that to you, but if with this new gear potential down the road again too is where it kind of reopens those windows.
Yeah, I remember when Darth Revan first dropped and people were showing an Ewok team won or something, but then when you did the math, it was the only way that was going to happen is if that Darth Revan team basically didn't have any mods. That's the kind of video that I just totally avoid. I don't release those type myself. So, but yeah,
it's
I'm
all
hoping,
RNG. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm hoping Gear 13 will bring more options in and kind of lighten the effect that Malik's having on Arena. Although saying that, I beat Darth Malik pretty easily. It's actually bloody Jedi Revan that I trip up more often on. I've actually changed my Darth Revan team. I have a Palpatine lead instead, so I can have the whole Terminator train as well against the Jedi for an easy win. Seems to be a much more simple way to go.
Yeah, Palpatine's still pretty intense as a lead in general. So
yeah, I love using Palpatine. Any excuse to use him too. But yes, speaking of Grand Arena, we touched on that a minute ago. The new Grand Arena Championships is here. I believe the attack phase goes live like any moment. I've got my defense set up. I'm expecting to get smashed. How are you feeling about this going into the first exhibition season?
Well, I mean, I'm really excited for Grand Arena Championships. Just the fact that it's finally here. I am nervous. I mean, like this first phase being a matchmaking phase and like an exhibition.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of exciting to give that layer. Let us get our foot in the water and see how it's going to be. But I am a little more concerned because I'm not a big spender, and maybe last year this would have been a little different if I was investing a little bit more and okay with it. But now it's more, how can I compete with this at a free-to-play level and aspect, and I really feel like it's going to be harder to climb through the rankings, but once you get to Kyber, that's where you're going to get your money's worth, and getting up to that level is the most important thing I'm thinking of right now, and how quickly we can start getting this currency in the fastest way to get the most income I can, really.
Yeah, I mean, I can see myself being stuck in the bottom payout brackets as I climb through these divisions and so on. The leagues, I think is the correct term. As I'm climbing up, I'm still going to be stuck in the bottom payouts. I don't spend on the game. I can't afford to spend on the game like many people, and I don't know how I'm supposed to compete with the people that do.
Yeah, the second reward tier system is where the casual spenders each month, let alone every year, they're going to be sitting in that spot. It's just how it's going to be. Getting to Kyber again is the goal. And then if you're not spending, that's fine. You'll still be in Kyber, and you can take advantage of what resources you're going to be able to get at and find out how consistently you're going to get those same rewards, right? And I mean, it comes down to mods and depth of mods again. I mean,
as always,
that's
meta.
just it. Yeah, that's just it. I mean, at the end of the day, mods make you stand out as an individual and how you mod each character and each team. So it does have that layer of theory crafting and what experiences you've had versus what you've worked on as counters. So I think it's just going to be something that you're going to have to stay happy with, right? You're going to have to settle for where you're at unless you feel like spending hundreds of bucks a month.
Yeah, which I certainly can't do. I'm sure many people can't. It's only the small minority that can really splash that kind of money around all the time. They're competing with each other more than they're competing with us, because we've kind of accepted our place, I'd imagine, by now. Yeah,
and I mean, and where we're at too, your GP again with 4.3, right?
4.2, yeah, roughly.
4.2. So I mean, you're right at the cusp of Division 1, and I'm right at the bottom of Division 1, 4.8. So I mean, it's gonna work out at first, and I mean, you're gonna face some challenging opponents, in your second or third rounds, or maybe if the matchmaking goes wrong, I mean, if they fix the matchmaking a little bit more, it's hard to. I think that's what this really is testing the algorithm for matchmaking, and then going into round 1, it's gonna kind of like last season, or when they first introduced Grand Arena, you had season 0, right?
Yeah,
so GAC season 0, here we go.
Yeah, I mean, as you said, it's going to be heavily mod dependent. The players with the better mods are the ones that are going to race off ahead, and then hopefully, as it gets later on, you're going to be matched more with people that are around your own caliber. I've got it rough going into this very first battle. I think I'm actually facing probably the best guy in my entire 8-team bracket in round 1, so I'm a little bit nervous about going in against him. Some incredible mods, almost double the gear 12s I've got. Should be interesting.
It's gonna be challenging for sure, and I mean, I've had that happen to me, especially the last couple rounds before the original Grand Arena ended. I got matched up with probably the most challenging person in the opening round, and I like the challenge of it too, but it's gonna, again, that opening round or this opening exhibition even as a whole, It's going to be about, who's going to be matched up with who, and how happy everybody is with the matchmaking.
Yeah, I mean, I imagine that's something they're going to tweak as it goes on, because there's bound to be people that are complaining about it. There always are people complaining about something or other.
Oh yeah.
And they'll hear that and they'll be like, all right, how can we balance this out? Because they did say going into this that this will be the mode where we won't have to kind of nerf our own GP in order to get favorable, more balanced matches and stuff. Because a lot of people were doing that when they were dropping all mods off their characters, or as many as they could. And not even unlocking new characters and such, so they could get into lower brackets. But yeah, I mean, that doesn't seem to really benefit you this time, because your own division, you're still matched up against people with your own galactic power. It should just be interesting to see how it all rolls out after a couple of seasons, to see if any changes get implemented or whatever.
Yeah, and with the matchmaking, again, it's never going to be perfect. Like,
No.
For me, for example, like, I had someone who's almost a whole 100,000 GP higher than me in this bracket, and you know what I mean? Like, it's just...
Yeah, that's pretty rough, especially if that's mods.
Yeah, they're trying to hyper-focus who's matched with who, right? Like, you want to have players who have a full roster of level 85, Gear 7 plus characters matched with similar rosters, as opposed to facing somebody who has 24 level 1 characters, Gear 1, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I got a few of those actually in my tournament. Yeah, I'm one of those guys with a full Gear 7 roster at minimum, so yeah, it's a little bit rough. I do have like a very focused top end, but it's really padded out at the bottom for the sake of like territory battles and stuff. In the early days I needed that GP for deployment.
Well, there's still room of improvement too, right? Like, I mean, where you're at too before you get into Division 1. So this is a perfect example for probably most of your viewers too as well. There's plenty of characters you can take mods off of. You can't really defluff your roster too much. But by the time you're getting into Division 1, you pick your 8 teams for offense and your 8 teams for defense. Make sure that they're modded from top to bottom, and everything else, strip the mods off, get rid of them, sell them. Get your cap space open for your mods so you can have more flexibility for mods, and then keep the characters that are for ships modded, of course, with your 5As and your 6Es, and try and keep as much fluff as you can. And it's time to start hyper focusing the teams that you want to Gear 12 and get ready to figure out which ones you want for 13.
Yep, the only problem with that is we've got Geonosis territory battles coming, and we're probably gonna have to keep putting those mods back on.
yeah, and I mean,
joys.
like, it's scary, and it's also a good idea to prepare for GOTB, right? Like, so a lot of players aren't going to be able to jump right into it, and they should have probably capped it a little bit higher than 80 million, not to disincentivize people to play it, but when people jump into this new TB, it's gonna not be what you're expecting. Like,
that's for sure. Yeah.
You're going to go in there and only get a couple stars, and it's going to be minuscule compared to what you can get for Hoth TB. So
yeah, I mean, my guild still hasn't... carry on, dude.
Sorry. If you're not like 160 million GP, don't do Hoth GOTB and prepare for it long term.
Yeah, I mean, like I was saying, my guild hasn't even maxed the dark side yet. We're like 1 star off because we just don't have the GP to get over the hump. I think you got to be just over 200 million or something, and we were at 197. So going into Geonosis, we're a little bit concerned, because I remember when the Hoth dark side first came out, and it was rough. You needed pretty much Gear 12 to be able to easily beat the last bracket, and that Phase 4, which is the final one in there, is gonna need Gear 13. You just know it's gonna happen. Yeah,
and then that's what they're incentivizing it for too. Is what 8 teams are you gonna? Well, not 8 teams. What 4 light side teams and 4 dark side teams are you gonna get to Gear 13 for GOTB?
Yeah,
and you're gonna have to implement the Geos as one of those dark side teams for sure. And I'm thinking Shock T and the clones possibly for light side.
I'm sure she's gonna be needed somewhere.
Yep, I mean, like, they're gonna incentivize the clones and Shock T in general, and these Galactic Republic Jedi too as well. So there's a lot of layers to it.
Yep, lots of things to save up for. Keep those crystals, get your Kyro techs, because you're gonna need them, guys.
Yeah, those Kyro techs. I mean, and again, just to touch on those, hyper focus those, and I hope they add a mechanic to where they kind of do with the Zetas, right? Like, are you sure you want to equip this Gear 12 finisher?
I wouldn't mind that as well. Imagine if you just accidentally stick it on a character when you were just checking what they were.
Yeah, or you just accidentally craft the wrong piece that you didn't want to craft. I mean, anything, just make a little more security for this, please.
Yeah, because there's going to be a lot of investment going into putting one together, and if you screw that up, that's gonna hurt.
Yeah, real bad. It's gonna put a hurt right in your heart.
And your wallet, no doubt. I think we're caught out there, dude. It's been great having you on once again, mate.
Hey man, it's a blast. I look forward to doing more work with you and hopefully get the first world problem solved with the audio and the recordings. Sorry for your fans there again.
Yeah, we'll work this out. We'll get your webcam on next time. Eventually we'll figure this out. I'll message Arnold again and be like, help. But we'll figure it out for next episode. So yeah, feel free to give your channel a plug, dude. Hopefully everyone goes and subscribes to you and hit that thumbs up on this video, guys. You know you want to.
Yeah, check me out on YouTube, Takedown Games. I'm your host, Zylo Takedown. Grand Arena Championships are here, and so am I. I am always streaming Grand Arena. I've got the premiere for the alt account today, too, as well. So we'll be running 2 different Grand Arenas, one from the higher end and the lower end, too, as well. Please like and subscribe. We're also doing roster reviews on casual streams, too, as well. So if you need a roster review, they are free. You can come join the Discord. It's on the About page on my YouTube channel.
There you go. You got it, guys. 2 accounts. I don't know how you're going to manage that. I can't. It's a lot of work.
Man. It's a trip, and I got a lot of big toes to stub, so.
All right, and guys, thanks for coming out. Make sure you subscribe to both of these channels and keep an eye out for next week when we're bound to do yet another collaboration. Until next time, guys, we out of here.